Bill, 20 years ago, when you introduced the Commissioner for the Environment Act into the Legislative Assembly, did you ever think you'd be standing here on a hill with the 5th Commissioner for the Environment, overlooking the city of Canberra?
Overlooking Canberra. Five commissioners. I think they've all done a very good job. But we, in those early years of self-government under the Follett government at that time, placed a very high priority on the environment and all the connections to the environment. And it's good to see that it carries through.
Where did the idea of the Commissioner for the Environment come from?
Well, it didn't come out of my head, I have to say, although I was very happy to hear it and to push it. It came from the discussions we had within the bureaucracy as to how we might best advance environmental issues. And it emerged there, and of course we grabbed it and ran with it very, very hard. This was the first report that was done and the first office of such a commissioner, and it's been followed rather more widely. It's such a good idea, so soundly based, that it's now the Commonwealth does the same thing. The ACT, as in so many things, led Australia.
Bill, since the creation of the office, what do you think are the greatest achievements over the last 20 years?
Oh, I think the focus on the environment. That's very much the achievement, and the ability to marshal so much expertise within our community to support that. And I think the attention that is paid to the reports, there's sometimes too much agreement in principle to the recommendations of the report, but I think as you look back, you can see there is progress. Air quality has been a big focus. Water quality, I think there's always a lot more to do with water quality, but atmosphere, air, the natural environment, biodiversity, there's greater focus. But as always, it's a work in progress, and you don't look for a great jump from year to year. I think it's better to look back, as we do today, over 20 years to see what has happened.
We've been looking at ecologically sustainable development. Do you think we're good custodians for future generations, and are we allowing enough room for them to be able to make the sort of decisions that they need to make?
Yeah, look, that's a hard question, but I think we are, and I think the results are there to see. In another position, I was on the board of the Land Development Agency for a number of years, and I know the attention that we had to pay and we wanted to pay to environmental biodiversity issues over every bit of land development we did, and the offsets we made to release more land back into protection. So in that area, great attention was being paid.
In your view, what's Canberra's greatest environmental asset or sustainability asset, and how do we build on it?
Well, I keep repeating, it's people. The level of expertise and the level of interest that we have here, that's an enormous asset. But then it's the obvious, the green spaces. The fact that Canberra was planned keeping hillsides clear, that it had vast spaces between urban areas. That's a remarkable asset, and I think that's been great to have and to maintain, and we should never intrude into that, and I don't think it's ever possible to do that. That's the greatest asset of all.
What would your advice be for decision makers and future commissioners if we want to continue to maintain the sort of environmental assets we have?
Oh, I think it's pretty simple. Think of your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and so on. Think of what you enjoy, what you would like to enjoy, and what you want for them in the future. And I think you keep that in mind, you take very strong approaches to looking after the environment.